Good day, my name is Ross Jason Bohemly, as you know it, for people on my friends list and those who aren't. You can PM me at any time. For the last 16 years, I've dealt with family violence, a genocide, an act against humanity, human rights laws, and ethics being violated in the Kemo Valley and in my life. Psychological warfare or abuse falling under family violence, genitals and hormones being stripped from the body in the last 4 to 5 years by a invaga sustenna or vilified or a psychiatric drug. I've been tortured for over 16 years of starvation on social services and neglected the proper necessities of life. A genocide by the United Nations of the world, which Canada has signed a treaty to follow by. Violating all human rights of ethics. Being psychologically harmed by people like you've seen in my videos. I don't make up a story at all. Neglected from family previously as a child and neglected. One person getting more than another and having to deal with little brothers who kick you in the face while you're sleeping, assaulting somebody. Dead-like when you kick somebody in the face. When their nose jumps up into their brain and you know how that works. A death move. Ignorance of money is being stolen in child slavery and so forth. Working in the Kemo Valley in the last 16 years and not having wages paid. Slave labor. An employer saying they have money to hire you and knowing they have money to hire you and then not having money to hire you. An intent to harm our government and their agencies can't have a tribunal and find the money and give these people business licenses in the act by the RCMP. The RCMP is involved because they show up after being assaulted by these gangs, psychologically and physically, with different smells and scents, like your parents' urine and other family members that agitate you and burn your eyes and face. A chemical, biological weapon. Intending to harm somebody with a capital punishment being the psychiatric drugs that kills your brains and your hormones and your genitals and follows under family violence being a doctor. It's a breach of contract and trust of a public official as well, and by equal rights, all human beings follow under the law. Nobody's protected in any segregation at all in a private investigation. The law is the law, and we violate that at any stage in the world. We fall under a criminal. You are not protected. In a war, yes, you might get away with it because it's a war. It's not a civil matter in a war. That's why we have laws. In a war, when war is declared, there is no laws until you capture them and put them in a detainment. Just like self-defense, the right to health, the right to freedom of speech, the right to health, the right to play and express yourself and do what you'd like to do in your individual right without intending to harm a human being. Knowing that you're harming them, being a common nuisance in life. Criminal harassing them, that means stalking somebody, putting drugs in their foods that they don't know about it, like a date rape drug, intending to harm them, or unlawfully causing bodily harm so they can't function in society. Stripping them of jobs that they need to sort of live in this world under Article 25, living an adequate lifestyle, and not being protected by 40 hours a week like they told us in high school, not 6 or 7 jobs to survive, and being psychologically strung along in jobs because there's nothing out there. From adultery, from women, and so forth like that. You can look at my playlists. This is my friends and my family and those who want to listen. It's a genocide by the United Nations, what I'm going through. It's a criminal activity. It's a human rights violation, and laws, ethics, and human rights violated in Canada. Our Prime Minister of Canada doesn't want to listen, Stephen Harper, when he was, or Justin Trudeau and his ministry as now. I've sent many times into news agencies as well, and even the White House, and to the United Nations of what's going on. It's a genocide when we're supposed to live in such a free country, and refugees seem to want to run to this country. I wish you all a good day. I've never harmed any of you physically, financially, or mentally in any way. I treated everybody with utter respect. What I've gone through is a genocide, and I can't live in this world anymore and have to find a new world to live in. You're driving somebody to an extinction meaning it's capital punishment, it's an execution, and you're all violent offenders. And I guess the only way to deal with that is nuclear war, because that way we all get evaporated all at once, isn't it? Because a rifle can only do 25 shots if it's an AR-15, or a hunter 3 to 5 shots if it's in there. And equal rights and equal protection before and after the law is a police officer can't pick sides. They have to stay neutral in all things. Once you pick a side, you're part of another gang, and you are therefore not law enforcement or have any protection at all. You're now a gang. A jury cannot pick a side or know anything about the matter beforehand entering the courts. And a judge is not a doctor in any way in a courthouse. It's a biased, ignorant opinion, and against ethics cannot talk to any other person but the patient, it says, or harm anybody. If psychiatric drugs harms them from living and strips their hormones, they're killing somebody in a genocide. It's not a treatment. I'm going through an assault, and that's all it is. An act of war on a human being that's never harmed another human being. I'd like it to stop, but it doesn't seem to for over 16 years. Have a great day. Actually, 44 years. Ever since Dave Lai, my stepfather, adopted us, and even a little bit before that. And Mother even did it as a kid. Didn't want us around as kids because we were little bastards. And he'd yell and scream at it. I don't think my dad was paying his child support when we lived in Brandon, Manitoba.